Eddie, firstly, can we just check on Callum Wilson, who you said went off at the weekend after feeling his hamstring? How is he?
Yeah, he's okay. Normal process. He's gone for a scan. We're awaiting those results. But yeah, we hope it's not too serious.
And Ryan Fraser, I think you said, had a groin problem. He was on the bench, didn't come on. What's the situation with him?
Situation same. Scan. Awaiting the results. Again, we hope it's not too serious with him.
Any other injuries ahead of the cup tie?
No, we've got a few bumps and bruises. I think Dan Byrne, who came off with, I think he hit the ball in the head. So I think he missed the game, definitely. Yeah, and as I say, a few other knocks. I mean, physically we gave so much to the game against Manchester City at the weekend that naturally I think there was a few tight bodies.
This is your first League Cup tie as Newcastle manager. How important is this competition for you this season?
Yeah, very important. I think I made that clear during pre-season, not just to you, but to the media, to the players as well. I want to see a team that wants to win every game we compete in. Every competition is treated with the same importance, and I hope that's reflected in our performance tomorrow. I think I've made it very clear to the players in that respect.
But as you mentioned there, you've got a couple of players who are unavailable. You also have several who either haven't featured or have made late substitute appearances so far that will be desperate to start. So are you likely for those reasons and others to freshen things up a bit?
Yeah, I think there will be changes to the team. But I believe in the squad that we have. A lot of the players that are fighting to play in the Premier League are outstanding individuals, outstanding players, outstanding characters. So I've got no doubts about freshening the team up and bringing players in. It's more the mentality has to be right from the group, and that's everyone. The mentality has to be right. We have to realise that these games are very important and we're desperate to go through.
I just want to ask you about a couple of them. Firstly, Jamal Lascelles, the captain, is one of those that hasn't played yet, and he's found himself on the bench like he did for spells in the second half of last season. How has he reacted to that again?
He's reacted very well. I thought he had a very good pre-season. He's unlucky not to play. There's big competition now with Sven coming in, and the form of Fabian and Dan. I thought last year was very strong, but Jamal was part of that as well. Whenever he came in, he performed really well at a high level, and we're going to need that strength and depth as the season goes on. Behind the scenes, he's been a brilliant captain and leader for the group. He set the example every day in training of how to prepare and support his teammates. So I think he's in a very good place.
And we know Elliot Anderson impressed you in pre-season. Could this be the right time for you to give him his first appearance this season?
Yeah, Elliot's chomping at the bit to be involved. He's trained very well, even at the start of this season. He hasn't appeared yet in the Premier League, but his performances in training haven't dipped, so he's in a good place, I think, to give a good performance.
And last thing from me, you go to Tranmere as a manager of a Premier League club, but I'm sure you've been on the other side of this in your earlier days at Bournemouth. You can understand, therefore, what a big occasion and opportunity it is for Tranmere with Newcastle coming tomorrow night.
Yeah, as you say, I've been on the other side of it many times, and we always looked at the cup competitions as a great experience for our players and a great opportunity to impress and to pit your wits against the best is always an exciting proposition, and that's why we can't underestimate the task we have. It's a difficult place to go. I've been there many times. Mickey's an outstandingly experienced manager as well, so he's going to have his game plan and how to upset us, but we need to stamp our authority on the game as quickly as possible.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Eddie, you said a couple of weeks ago that you got the players together and sort of talked about the history of the club and showed them bits and pieces they might not have seen before. Did you show them any footage of the last time Newcastle won a trophy?
No, it was discussed though. As I said, we went through various things, and part of the reason for going through certain things was to express to the players our determination to try and be successful and win a domestic cup competition is something that is in our sights that we want to achieve as quickly as we can. So setting the bar high for the players, setting expectations high, because I think that's the best way to generate the attitude that we want in these games, and that's the most important thing for tomorrow.
Where is the Carabao Cup on your list of priorities this season?
I don't think there's a list of priorities. I don't sit down and write those things. It's every game. The next game is the most important. Wolves waits until this game is finished, and at the moment everything is about Tranmere, and we go there to give our best performance.
You said the lads are probably a bit tired after the weekend, and rightly so, the amount of work that they put in. How is the mood around the place since that display against City?
Yeah, the mood's very good. I mean, the mood's been consistently good, I'd say, for a period of time. I think we've got very, very good characters in the dressing room. So win, lose or draw, I think there's that feeling of togetherness. Whatever situation we're in, we stick together. But I think naturally from the display that we gave against Manchester City, I think there was a lifting of our belief, internal belief. We went toe to toe. We gave a very good account of ourselves while acknowledging there's still lots to improve.
I know there's not been a lot of time, but have you had a chance to watch it back?
Yeah, no, I watched it back on
How did you feel?
Sunday night. Exhausted, to be honest, at the end of it. But it was good. I think I always enjoy when the performance is predominantly positive. I think you always enjoy that feeling you get when you're watching your team deliver a good product. And as I say, there's always things to improve. We're always looking at things, and there was lots of elements of our performance that we didn't quite get right. But we have to look at who we're playing against, and it's small margins. The higher you go, with one small step out of place, and you end up conceding a goal against the level of players that Manchester City have, and that's what happened in the second half. But overall, just delighted with the commitment that the players showed.
To think we were all sat here on Friday asking if you were going to play five at the back.
No, but
was that a little snapshot into what an Eddie Howe team wants to look like moving forward?
No, but the questions you asked were valid and were right. And as I say, there's no right or wrong approach really in those games. It's just what fits you and your philosophy and how you want to play the game. And I think that is a snapshot of how we want to be. We want to become a top team. And I think to become that team, I think we have to play aggressive front foot football. So that is a view to the future for us, but we have to become better in every aspect of that.
And it's an obvious thing to ask, but I heard Ten Hag last night talking about the running that his players put in against Liverpool. We had two people talking about it as well against Leeds, perhaps in the other way. How important is that, and how much running did your lads put in on Sunday?
Yeah, I think the physical stats were very good, probably up there with our best performances in terms of our running. And I think the modern game, the running aspect and the physical aspect, they're linked to success. I think that is the way the game is going. But I don't think it's the only marker. I think you have to run, but you have to run intelligently. We use it as a gauge of how well we're performing, but as I said, it's not the only thing.
I noticed one or two foreign outlets last night reporting that you had a deal in place for João Pedro at Watford. Are you able to give us an idea as to what the situation is there?
Not really, Keith. No, I think that's not entirely accurate, but I'm not sort of dealing with these things minute to minute, day to day, so I'm sort of in the background hearing what's happening, but I don't think that's correct.
Okay, and do you still feel that with a week or just over a week to go, are you expecting to be active?
Yes, we hope to be.
Thank you.
No problem.
Look north.
Hi, just on that intensity that you showed on Sunday and the running that's required, are you concerned that your team is going to be able to do that week after week and show that level of intensity? And are you doing anything different to up that compared to last season?
Well, I think your training day to day has to mirror how you want to play. So I don't think you can prepare a certain way and then just ask your players to, right, today we have to run. I think it's got to be your pre-season training really is the foundation for everything that you do afterwards. That's how we want to play, and so then we have to mirror that every day. So I think the players get used to the expectations placed upon them. That's certainly what we've tried to do. I think the players need to be fresh enough to deliver that, and then that's down to us managing the training and making sure we get spells where the players can recover. But I think in the Premier League, in the main, you're week to week. I know this year's slightly different with the World Cup and a slightly more congested schedule, but certainly we will ask our players to try and hit those levels on a consistent basis.
You answered about João Pedro, one name being linked with a move away this morning in some of the papers, and Saint-Maximin brilliant on Sunday. Presumably he would be someone that you would very much want to keep.
Yeah, very similar answer to the one I gave about Bruno. Really, we're trying to build the squad. We're trying to add competition for places. Certainly don't want to weaken our team.
Simon?
Morning, Eddie. The pressure for Newcastle United Trophy is a historical cross that managers have had to bear here for a generation. I know it's quite early days for you and cup ties here, but do you feel that weighs perhaps heavier here than other places?
I don't feel that at this present time. I feel a excitement and really good relationship between the players, the supporters. That, as I said before the game the other day, hopefully they're enjoying coming to see the team and excited about what we can deliver. So I don't feel that presently. I mean, I can't speak for the future, but certainly at the moment we're enjoying entertaining our supporters and trying to play the type of football they want to see.
Okay, thanks broadcasters. Britons? George?
Just on that subject, Eddie, I mean, previous Newcastle managers in the recent past have talked about winning something and wanted to win something, but it hasn't felt like the club is geared up to win something, or the squad isn't big enough to cope with it. Is the club now geared up to win something?
I think there's certainly the ownership view would be that they want to try and deliver that. Whether we're quite there yet, I don't know. Time will tell. Certainly from my expectations of what I want from the players, I want to set the bar very, very high. I want to push to try and achieve great things. So there's no one internally putting a ceiling on what we can do.
And it used to be this sort of magnificent obsession. It used to be a kind of positive that Newcastle were trying to win something, and then it became, I think as time elapsed, it became that burden, that was hanging on people. Can it be something good, that quest to win something?
I think you have to have it. I think if you haven't got that, then you haven't got that desire to achieve and to really break barriers, then I don't see how you can do it. So I think there's that unknown that's ahead of us. We want to try and fill it with success. We know that we have to do the processes to try and get there. So our training and all the things that we talk about on a weekly basis here are so important to achieving that success, and that's what we're working towards.
Craig?
Morning, Eddie. Has the issue with Callum changed, do you think, at all with regards to transfer strategy in the remaining 2 weeks?
Well, I think we'll wait and see the extent of Callum's injury before sort of answering that question, really.
Is there a danger it could be serious?
I don't think it'll be serious, but I think with hamstrings you've got to be very, very careful. Not just with Callum, but with any player. So, as I say, we'll wait and see the results, and then see how long he's going to be out.
Okay, Miles?
Last time we spoke about Elliot Anderson, you suggested he would stay this season. What has his situation changed, and is he contended to start tomorrow?
Yeah, he's definitely a contender to start tomorrow. As I said, everything that I've seen from him day to day has been very impressive. In terms of the future, I don't see a way that he would leave at this moment. As I say, the transfer windows are ever-changing things, so I wouldn't give you a definite, because I wouldn't want to say something that isn't accurate. But I'm really excited to see him play. I think he's a player that's really grown, as I've said, from his loan period away, and I'd say his game's in a very good place.
Ian?
This competition of places for the starting 11, but are there still competition for the squad of 25? Will there be people who might figure tomorrow who are competing to be part of your season, if not your team?
At the moment, I'd say we have a group that's quite stable in terms of numbers. I would say that the majority of people that are training day to day with us will form our 25-man squad. I don't think we're really pushed in terms of numbers currently. So no, I wouldn't say they're necessarily competing for a place in the 25-man squad. I think we have a very good unity and group. We want to try and add to that before the window shuts, but I don't see the 25-man squad really being a big fight for places there.
Can I ask you, Jamal Lewis, is he figuring in with Dan Burn out tomorrow? Would he be a contender left back?
Yeah, it'd be a contender. I think that's a position where we do have a lot of players currently, which is great to see, because that hasn't always been the case. So majority of players are fit in that position.
Okay. Luke?
Can you tell us who you're going to sign, please?
Make it easier, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we do.
If I knew, I'd be able to tell you as well. So currently, it's an ever-changing thing.
Is it frustrating that you get, as Keith alluded to there, that you get these reports that say deals are done, they're not, and does that cause you problems? Does that cause you issues?
I don't think it causes me issues. I think probably causes other people issues. I think it comes with the territory. I think when you're at a big club, there's naturally going to be stories and lots of rumours. I've learned, I think, in my position now to ignore it. So I ignore what you write. But I think it's the best way to be. And as long as you know what's going on internally, I think that's the main thing.
And are you still relatively calm? Because you can understand it at a big club, and a club like Newcastle, there is a frenzy for new signings to be made. Are you calm? Are you confident?
I'm calm on the outside, and at the moment I'm calm on the inside because the team's performing well. I think we've got a very good squad. I would love to add to it, and bring players in that can make a real difference to the team. We're working very hard to try and achieve that.
Just finally, one on the game. How do you convince the players that this game is just as important as the Manchester City one?
I think it's in your preparation, Luke. I think making sure your standards don't drop. We prepare for Tranmere like we prepare for Manchester City, and I think hopefully they see that detail that you're going into. Hopefully they respect that you're not showing the importance of any game is different, and I think hopefully the players feed off that. And also they set their own standards. I do think we've got a very good group in terms of that. They're delivering very good performances day to day. They get used to that expectation, and then they can go and perform in the right way.
Thank you.
Okay, Kieran and then Martin. Kieran?
Harry Redknapp BBC came really close to taking this job because he felt, imagine being the one to deliver for these fans. You walked into a really dire situation, there's a lot of work ahead, but have you had that moment in your head where you imagine what that would be like to end that kind of drought?
I probably have, to be honest. I think, as I say, visualisation and having those high expectations, naturally, I think you do have to do that. I think you have to sort of try and see it in your own head and believe it's possible. So yeah, I'm not afraid to say that visualisation and imagining those things are very important. I wouldn't say I do it regularly. It's not necessarily a daily occurrence, but it's something I think you vision the future and you just try and see what you can achieve, and certainly it is one of my dreams.
Obviously the last cup game, the Cambridge game, was a difficult moment for you. Have you had to remind them about that? Do you think they'll almost want to put that right, or it's so long ago that it's not necessary?
No, I haven't. I haven't gone back there. I'm not sure that's a healthy thing to do for the current squad. I think the dynamics of the group has changed. The feeling internally has changed. It's not necessarily a bad thing to go back there at times, but I think we're excited about the game tomorrow. I don't see any part of the group that isn't looking forward to performing and hopefully performing well. So I don't think I'll be going back to the Cambridge game, although that was a very painful reminder of what can happen if you don't play well.
Okay, Martin?
Kind of following on from Kieran there, when you sat down with the players and went through the history of the club, was there a challenge in there to write their own chapter and to create something a bit more glorious than recent times?
Yeah, of course. I think that's part of the reason for doing it, is to try and get the players to see where their own history is being made. And I think if we could be the first team in a long time to win a domestic trophy or achieve something really memorable, they get their own place in Newcastle's history. That's certainly somewhere we want to be.
And in the recent past of this club, it was minted at a boardroom level that the cups were not a priority, which kind of fed through to the fans, I suppose, as well. Have you had to change that philosophy and that mindset throughout the whole club that this matters?
I've never encountered that, so I think the most important thing is what's in my head, preparing the team. I speak to the players on a daily basis. I'm training them every day, so I think the most important is what I think, because that will filter to the players. No external thoughts are going to change my want to win.
Okay, Lee Ryder?
Just on Chris Wood, a few people have been saying if Callum does get injured, we've got no other strikers, but obviously Chris Wood's here, and I guess he's got a part to play as well.
A massive part to play, and I think you could see the other day when he came on for Callum, I thought he performed really well. Made a positive impact when he came onto the pitch. Linked play very well, played a couple of lovely passes. So no, Chris has got a huge part to play, and also the big thing with Chris is when he comes on, defending set plays, he was recovering back into a midfield position at times to help the team. He's got that experience and know-how, which is absolutely vital at this level.
I don't know if you can answer this, but do you practice penalties before occasion like this?
Yeah, we have our penalty takers that practice. They practice penalties on a daily basis. So we think within the squad we've got some players that are very well prepared.
Okay, Jordan.
How's Matt Target doing? Is he close to a return?
Yeah, Matt's doing well. He was close against Manchester City, but we didn't really want to take that risk. We hadn't had a really big training day within 14 days, so we felt it was probably too big a risk to start him, but he's very close to being fit.